Hari Om. Today we are having two shlokas, and it is a matter of immense pleasure that the most favorite shloka of Swami Vivekananda amongst entire Gita shlokas is one of these. The 71st shloka, in the opinion of Swami Vivekananda, is the ultimate essence of Gita. And when great sages talk about this, it presupposes that we need to be extremely alert in understanding both of them and relate it to our life. Gurudeva's is done. Swami Vivekananda's is done. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa's is done. Tapovan Maharaj is done. What about me? Relating the philosophical aspect to the practical day-to-day living and ascertaining that I am different today than yesterday, spiritually speaking, not materially, is an essential yardstick to know whether Friday is affecting remaining 6 days of the week. Being more information oriented or becoming a bookish knowledge expert is not going to take us anywhere. Why one word, one comma alone can be there for the rescue if earnestly understood and implemented in life? Then the entire scripture. And that is why Bhagavad Gita is replete with utmost practical solutions to the issues that are faced by us. The magnitude of the pain, the nature of the pain, the substantivity of the pain may vary. The fact remains we are in pain. We are engulfed by sorrow. Let anyone deny this, then either he is in fool's paradise or he is a realized soul. A realized soul will not talk about the pain and sorrow because he is unaware of it. And one who is aware and yet says that he is not in pain and sorrow is in fool's paradise. Then what intrigues our mind is, how is it that the people of Gurudeva's stature are able to free themselves from the pain and the sorrow? What is the secret? I am getting plagued by the sorrow mainly because of the desires. Everyone has by-hearted it by now. Desire, the word comes from desire. S-I-R is sire is to father. One who fathers desire. So when we analyze life of any Jivan Mukta, and the best example in front of us is nothing else of Gurudeva himself. Did he not have desire? Did he not have the desire of conducting a yajna? If he was not affected by the desire, then is it that the desire was absent, or desire was beneficial, or a benevolent desire and not a malevolent desire? A Jivan Mukta is devoid of the desire, or he has desire of a different kind, or he has a desire but he is not aware that he has a desire. Maharaj, it is a process of thinking. We need to dwell deep into the shloka. Why is it that Bhagavad Gita all of a sudden realizes that it should give an example of a ocean and call all the desires as rivulets or river? The analogy indicates a very small stream of water vis-a-vis a huge expanse of water. The huge expanse itself means vyapti in Sanskrit, which means water, has come from up. Up is to obtain. We all get, or we all obtain the water, so water is called up. Up means to obtain. So shantim apnoti, here the peace is obtained. And in the next shloka it is adhigachati. Adhigachati, you reach the destination called shanti. The difference is, if you get a glass of water, you obtain a glass of water. And if you go close to a huge sweet water lake, it is adhigachati. So the ocean that is being referred, which indicates vyapti, expands, that vyapti itself is coming 2 times here. In the 17th shloka, it talks about samudram apaha, samudram, ocean. In the 2nd shloka, the word is vihaya. Mind well, vihaya word has come from vyapti. If we go into the nirukta, the word vihaya has been described or etymologically explained by Yaskacharya as vyapti, that which is huge. Both of them indicating the Brahman, the one that is vibhur vyapya. What it means is, the huge expanse belittles the small rivulets. So the desires, their presence is not denied. If desires are denied, then how can we have a Devi called Kamakshi, Kamakhya, Kam? How can we deny the Shakti of Ishvara itself called Ichha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, Karya Shakti, Ichha Shakti? These are 3 primal powers of Prakriti. So the primal power cannot be denied. But all the primal powers emanate from the Brahman or the Atma Tattvam, which is Vibhur Vyapya or Vihaya, like ocean. So in that huge expanse, almost unnoticeable flutter of something called desire disappears as if it is not existing, as if. So for the one who has grown so big in size, a small touch of a cotton to his body at one point will not create any issue because of the vastness. A tip of a small cotton thread, if touched to a small insect, it is an onslaught. But if it is touched to a huge body of elephant, it is unnoticeable. So the presence of that touch is acknowledged by the elephant, but it does not react to it. Tadvat, a Jivan Mukta shall have the desires, infinite signals. Gurudeva says infinite signals coming from the sense objects pour into their stimuli. Pour, they just literally pour the stimuli. But they do not create any commotion or flux. The elephant is not disturbed by a small piece of thread of cotton which is trying to touch the pachyderm. So the one who has realized the soul, the Atma Tattvan, the Atma Darshi, the Kavi, the Kranti Darshi, acknowledges the presence of sense organs and their functioning of their stimuli. He is definitely aware of it. He is not oblivious of it, but he pays no attention to it because of his hugeness, vastness, vibhur vyapyata. And when such a thing fails to disturb a huge individual, then his peace is not disturbed. In the process of growing, the disturbances become less and less. With every single disturbance from the desire being absent, we get what is called as temporary peace, a momentary peace. When we stop action and functioning and effect of the desire, for that moment we do get peace, but it remains for a very short period. That is why those small, brilliant points of peace are obtained by us. However, one who has grown through this practice and become huge and vibhur vyapya, for him, these points are no more points but flood of ocean. So such a shanti pervading everywhere, such a person is said shantim adhigacchati. So apuryamanam achalam achalam. Achala pratishtham. Tishtati, where? In achalam, achalata. Not, see, it is not the obliviation, it is not oblivion. The presence of desires is definitely acknowledged, but one doesn't move. So achala. not asamvedya, achal. Then the question comes, if the desire is a flow that is moving towards me through the sense organs, no desire can flow unless it has a mother. What is the mother of the desire? The mother of the desire is ego. Not only that, in many scriptures, ego has been called as bundle of desires. Each desire adds to a structure called ego and reshapes it. Again, new desire comes, reshapes it. It increases in breadth as well as the height, and it becomes a huge thing, a person called ego. In our body, what resides is this ego. Extricate the ego, then what remains in our body as well as desire, as well as whatever is precisely as per the Lord's creation. Lord himself has exhibited his Ichha Shakti, desire. Ekoham Bahusyami is what? A desire. The pure divine desire is a part of the creation. Prakrutodbhava. Prakruti in the form of cosmic creation has inbuilt desire into it. But that is a pure divine desire. It is the egocentric desire that is creating the trouble. Egocentrism leads to the formation of pain and the sorrow. The divine desire does not create pain and the sorrow. So if the universe is created by the Lord, it is not meant to be painful and sorrowful. In that creation, I have created my world through my mind and ego, which is painful. There are umpteen number of constituents in the creation which are doing their own functioning. And when they function as per the desire of the Lord, there is no problem. Has there been a complaint by a gas called oxygen? No. Oxygen is there, existing as an entity. It supplements the living of other organisms. He is doing his function as per the desire of the Lord. So oxygen doesn't suffer from anything. A leaf of a plant does photosynthesis as per Lord's desire. So it takes sunlight and the carbon dioxide and the oxygen and creates phosphorylation, sugar, etc., etc., etc. That happens as per Lord's desire. There is no problem there. Even when I am eating my food, the food that I eat, it sets into motion millions of things in my body as per cosmic designs. The saliva that I get in my mouth for that food is not my creation, not my desire. The fire that I get in the form of Vaishwanara in my stomach to digest the food is Lord's desire. And the food itself is the requirement of millions of cells which have their independent status as the life. Aham bhuta sangaha shariram. Soul is nacha bhuta sangaha. So this composite organ is working under the direction and the desire of the Lord. I consider this compositeness as mine. which is against the divine desire or the will. That means I trying to behave in this cosmos of creation as me being a separate constituent, not as a part of the entire machine called cosmos. And moment I think it that way, any non-performing part of the machine will be set back with a solid kick from the universe or the nature, which we call as phalam, in the form of papam or dukkham. The deviation that I made, I shall be punished for it, because the machine has to run smoothly. The machine is being made by somebody else, the machine operator. Yantra rudhanam mayaya. Arjuna, I am the one who has set this into motion. You have no business to disturb and distract the motion with the feeling of I. That is why when I disappears, the purest form of desires that remain, which is an essential constituent of the Prakriti, till the time you are in the Prakriti, you will observe them. But because of your huge and vastness, Vibhurvyapyata of Atma Tattvam, you shall not be disturbed by any kind of desires. The presence of thorns in the way is not a problem for the one who knows how to walk around them. And if this is the situation, then why such a brilliant scripture should use a word kama kami? Maharaj, kami itself means desirer. Then kama kami? Is it not a punarukti dosham? It is not allowed. In a good language, punarukti dosham. Not allowed. You can't say pita pitambara, yellow, yellow. No. Dvirukti is not allowed. Punarukti or dvirukti, unless indicated, for example, when a particular adhyaya is getting over, there is a dvirukti, which indicates that now the scripture is coming to an end in an adhyaya. But this particular punarukti, kama kami, desire, desire, desirer of desire. Kami himself is a desirer. And there lies a small subtle key. Kama kami is the one who has ego as the basis of desire. Then who is akama kami? Divine desire. Akama kami, kama kami. A kama kami's desire is Kamakhya Devi, Kamakshi. Kamakshi, Kamakhya Devi is Maya Devi, Prakriti Mata, Bahuprasava, Gunakshobhini Maya. Kami, Akama Kami. Kama Kami, me. Egocentric, one who has packed the bundle of desires and carved out a new personality within the divine personality. One who is subject to avidya kama karma, avidya kama karma, avidya kama karma, trigranthis. He is kama kami. So the word kama kami. That is right. One who is not a kama kami and has grown in the stature because of atma khyati, has become so huge like the ocean, For him, the presence of sense organs and infinite number of sense objects pouring into them shall not disturb at all. And there comes the master stroke by the master commentator Gurudeva. It must have struck him while writing the commentary, the beautiful numerator denominator concept to explain. Numerator, number of desires fulfilled. Denominator, total number of desires. Imagine number of desires fulfilled is still there, say 5, 6, 10, whatever. But total number of desires entertained is 0. I am talking of a jnani. The shloka is indicating the same thing. So anything that is divided by 0 is infinite. You may fulfill whatever number of desires are there. But desires are not, number of entertained desires is 0. Vairagyam. The one who is having para vairagya, the denominator being 0. This explains why Gurudeva liked Shrikhandam. Is it not a desire? Get me Shrikhandam and Papadam. He used to say that. I have heard it from Gurudeva's own disciple, his mouth, that even when he was prohibited by the doctors to eat salty things because of his blood pressure, he said, forget about all that. Get me my rice and papad. Is it not a desire, sir? It is a desire. Did he not fulfill it? He did fulfill it. Then how can you say that he is Jivan Mukta? Denominator is 0. Number of desires entertained by the egocentric existence is 0. Non-egocentric, kami kamaha, umpteen number, no problem. Prarabdhavashat, anything. Samartha Ramadas, one of the saints of Maharashtra who wrote Dasabodha, who happened to be the Guru of Shivaji Maharaj, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, he had, in his time, there were 5 realized souls staying together. They were called Panchayatana. One of his colleague, you can say, Jivan Mukta, was Ranganath Maharaj. Now this Ranganath Maharaj used to be always found enjoying the best food, the best staying, the best clothes, the best ornaments. So once these 2 realized souls had an argument with each other. Samartha Ramdas said, Ranganath, you are a realized soul, you are a Vairagi. Why the hell are you having this such a beautiful dress and ornaments and everything? And the answer given by him was, that is the desire of the God. It's not my desire. He said, no, it is your desire. Come with me to the jungles for sadhana and let me see how you are going to enjoy it. So he took him to a jungle. Both of them went to the jungle, very close to Satara. And in those jungle, while they were walking for a day or so, by evening they were feeling thirsty. When he was feeling thirsty, the Samartha Ramadas Maharaj said, Ranganath, you are elder to me, so you are Sreshtha, you sit here, I'll get water and come back. I'll search for the water. So he went for searching for the water. Ranganath Maharaj sat there on the road, a small road, whatever, that small place where he sat there. While he was sitting there, in those days, one of the Sardar, Maratha Sardar from Gwalior was walking back towards Satara. On the way, he saw Maharaj sitting there. He said, Maharaj, you are sitting here? He said, yes, I am sitting here. Why you are sitting here? He said, one of my colleagues has gone to fetch water, so I am sitting here. He immediately ordered the entire entourage, yeah, put up a tent here, put Maharaj inside, give him a bed mattress to sit. And immediately everything was set up. A beautiful bed was set up. A silken covering was put on it. A small simhasan was made. Maharaj was put on that. Food was started cooked. And in the meantime, some fruits were brought to him. And then the Sardar himself with his wife, he took darshan of Maharaj. And after about 2 hours, Samartha Ramdas came and he was astonished to see what is happening here. He said, Ranganath, what is this? He said, look, what can I do? Divine desire. You put me here, there was nobody except the trees. Now these people came, they gave me all this. What can I do? I have no desire. But a divine desire destined me to do this, so I am doing it. Let it be taken, no problem. Let it be given, no problem. Let Srikhandam be there, no problem. Let it be there, no problem. Denominator is zero. Anything divided by zero is infinity. And that is where the practical hint lies for all of us. And the practical hint is, if the desire is fulfilled, thank the Lord of the Almighty, be content, santushtata, santruptata. हम है राजी उसमें जिसमें तेरी रजा है, इधर भी वहा हुआ है, उधर भी वहा हुआ है. कर भला तो हो भला, आखिर दरवेश की सदा क्या है. Whatever Lord has given, what a stupid husband I have got. Kar bhala to ho bhala. It hasn't come on its own. Because of my deeds only it has come. Accept. No, what a beautiful husband I have. Accept. Sukhe santosha na yave, dukhe vishada na bhajave. Labha labho jaya jayo. Denominator has to be kept at zero. Number of desires entertained by the mind. Number of desires fulfilled with the flow of life, there is no problem. Got married and got a son, desire fulfilled, on the way, no problem. I wish my son could, sir, denominator is increasing. If I could get that latest model of Ferrari, desire, number of desires going up, sir, denominator is increasing, you will be in trouble. One day I want to learn all this Bhagavad Gita by heart. Denominator is increasing, sir. Be alert. What a beautiful woman. Denominator is increasing. I want to study and then impress every desire. Denominator increasing. A constant alert has to be set into the motion. And then, prarabdha vashat, if the desire is fulfilled, enjoy. That time you should completely enjoy. There's no point in having a laddu in the hand and say that all this is Brahman. No, sir. Enjoy the laddu. The happiness that the laddu gives is also divine, provided you do not covet it. Is drinking tea good for a sadhaka's health? We should not be drinking tea. No, sir. Drink it. No problem. Nobody asks you to stop drinking tea and then you're going to get Atmadhnanam. No. But when the morning tea doesn't come, the commotion that happens with the mind, that is what the problem is. If today tea, very good. Tomorrow no tea, very good. Then the denominator is zero. That brings us to this particular 71st shloka, which is the most favorite of Swami Vivekananda. Yatiraj, the king and prince amongst the yogis. If he has said that I like this as the most important verse, then we must pay attention. Vihaya kamanya. Vihaya, normally taken as parityajya. But etymologically speaking, vihaya means vyapta. Atmana vihayaha sarva vyapaka. Akasha is sarva vyapaka. That is why the bird is called Vihanga. Vihanga means one who does sanchar in sarva vyapaka akasha. Vihaya kaman yaha. The one who takes desires into the vastness of Atma Tattvam. Those yah sarvan puman. Pum. Purushaha. Puman is man. Charati nispruha. Spruha. Nispruha means desireless. Please look, if you look at the word nispruha, nispruha means that which you are acquainted with when you covet. For example, there is a beautiful dish made in Montevideo in Uruguay. I am not even aware of it, so I am nispruha about it. That is not nispruhata, sir, because you don't know. Alfonso mango is not known to a Latin American farmer. So he says, look, I have no interest in, no, sir, you have not tested it. So you are not nispruha. Nispruhata is one who has come in contact with, enjoyed something, and still he doesn't want it. Matra sparshastu kaunteya. ध्यायते विषयान पुंसा संगस्तेषु उपजायते. संग होने के बाद, after the contact has been made with the object, then if you do not develop covetousness of about that object, nispruha. It is a crutch. When you have a crutch to lean on and you become dependent on it, that is called a spruha. So those men who go about living without the coveting the objects. And when will you not covet an object? When will this world be of not a consequence to me as far as wanting is concerned? When will that happen? When I understand the basics of it. And the basics of spruha, wanting or coveting, what is the basis of that? The basis is no one should get it, I should get it. Theoretically, we can bet on it that if every single individual in this world gets a Ferrari, I can be sure that nobody would want it. Think about this. Does anybody say that, sir, I want a shirt to wear? Everybody has a shirt to wear or a dress to wear. So they don't want something to wear. They want something special to wear. Why so? A beggar who doesn't have a cloth on his body, he says, sir, can I have something to put on the body? Understood, because he doesn't have that. When everyone has the same thing, they want something better than that because others should not have it. And when you say others should not have it, that means you say I should have it. That is called mamata. Mama. How many of us have said that, let all the children in this world be happy? No. Let my child be happy. I don't want my children to have this sanskara and that sanskara. But what about other children, sir? That I don't know. Mamatva. I should not lose the job. Others, I can say, oh, so sorry you lost the job. I'm actually feeling very bad about it. Sir, you're not even feeling bad about it because it hasn't happened to you. वैष्णव जन तो तेने कहिए पीर पराई जाने रे पराई. Mamatva is not to think of others. And nirmama is to think of others. And there's a beautiful relation between me and others. Whenever we think of others, we think less of us. Whenever we think of us, we think of less of others. In any organization, when the worker thinks more about the company grows. The modern, whatever that Maslow's hierarchy of management, etc. So that stupid science created out of that called management says self-actualization. The old wine in the new bottle. What it simply means is think more of others. You will think less of yourself. Nirmamo. Nirahankar. Now this is again a Bhagavad Gita's beauty. Nirmama nirahankara. Nir understood. Mama and ahankara. One is effect, another is cause. Nirmama, effect. Nirahankara, cause. Can you be nirahankari and still mamatva? Not possible, sir. Can you be nirmama and ahankari? Yes. This is more intriguing. How can you be nirmama and ahankari? Think. When you don't want anything in this world, still you don't want to leave one feeling. And what is the feeling? I distributed my entire wealth to the poor people. So I demonstrated nirmamatva. But I did it. Ahankar is still there. And mind well, this is not only the negative connotation of ahankar, even the positive connotation. I was meditating. This is nirmama. When you are meditating, you are not thinking of any mamatva. But what about ahankar? That is the reason why Patanjali Maharaj has given those 4 stages of sampradnyat samadhi. Vitarka, vichara, ananda. These are all mamatva. But asmita, sasmita sampradnyat samadhi tackles this ahankara head on. It is blasting the original concept that I. And when you blast that concept, you're done, sir. You are vihaya. You are atmaswarupa. And that is why nirmamo nirahankara. Sir, shantim adhigacchati. He goes adhigacchati to the place called shanti. Is there a place called shanti? Or is it an indicative thing? For a person who is swimming in the water, for him there is another entity called person not swimming in the water. But the person, when he is in desert, either of these entities do not matter because there is no water. Think. Try to understand, Maharaj. Water being there, 2 things are possible. One who is in the water, one who is out of the water. But if I'm sitting in the desert, the whole thing becomes irrelevant. But if I try to explain it to the person in the water that, there is a place where there is somebody who is not in, he says, sir, I only know two things, either in water or out of water. What are you talking? To make him understand, then the person says, let us say that place has no water, unwater place. There's no place called unwater. So Shantim Adhigachyati is a state which otherwise cannot be described, but in relation to the pain and no pain in which we are embedded, referentially it is called Shantim. It's a matter of subtle and deep understanding. It is not so easy that person of giant caliber intellect called Swami Vivekananda points out that this is the shloka that I like most. Moment great people talk like this, the responsibility on us to use our pea-sized brain and squeeze it to understand becomes larger and bigger. And it's a duty. You ought to know what they are trying to hint at if you are a good sadhaka. And we are here on Friday because we are good sadhaka. It's not an entertainment that we have come close together. We are Gurudeva's followers. If nothing can be followed of him, at least 1% of his dint of courage has to come in us. We don't have the courage to go empty stomach for days together in Uttarkashi and learn Upanishada in the frightening cold. But that doesn't mean that we should not put our intellect to test. Because more the understanding, easier the implementation. Fools trade where angels fear, because angels have knowledge. Fools are pea-sized brains. Our whole idea here is to get wider knowledge of the depth of the problem that we are facing so that we can be serious about the exercise, spiritual exercise that we need to undertake. And that is the reason why two shlokas, of which Vihaya Kaman Yaha Sarvan Poman Sharati Nispruha Nirmamo Nirahankara Sashantim Adhigachyati. Blasting of Ahankara, theoretically we all understand it. Practically what do? Practically, both these shlokas are hinting at one thing, desire. So first thing is quantitative reduction of desires. हजारों ख्वाहिशें ऐसी कि हर ख्वाहिश पे दम निकले, बहुत निकले मेरे अरमा, फिर भी कम निकले. Quantitative reduction of desires. Chah miti, desire should be over. Chah miti, chinta miti, then naturally the anxiety is over. Chah miti, chinta miti, manwa बेपरवाह, जिनको कछु नहीं चाहिए वही शहंशाह. A desireless person is a king walking on the emperor walking on the earth. So who was Gurudeva? An emperor, a majesty, His Highness walking on our land. The only pride that we can take is, I live in the same land where this emperor trotted the different areas, length and breadth, spreading knowledge and happiness. So to be a part of him, it is imperative on me to reduce quantitatively the desires, bring the denominator to as much as zero as possible. Within how much time? Why bother? It may take couple of births, and not couple, multitude of births. How? Depending upon how often I have been desiring. If I am desiring for hundreds of births, to get out also it might take, we don't know how much. But if at all we are lucky to get a Gurudeva and he puts his hand, Kartum, akartum, anyatha kartum. It can happen in 1 minute also. So keeping that in mind, putting Gurudeva at Shirodharya, both these shlokas should be implemented in the spiritual life. Hari Om.